Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Absolutely.
Sherri Shepherd, welcome.
Hey.
How you feeling? Congratulations on everything, first and foremost.
Thank you so much.
How does it feel to have your own show and every day have to be there? It's all about you and guests. And how does it feel?
You know, it's surreal knowing that I have to go in. It's a level of responsibility I never thought I would have, because I'm used to all the stuff that I do is what Barbara Walters used to do. I didn't appreciate her until having my own show. She would go to all of the affiliates. Every week I go visit affiliates. I hold babies. I kiss babies.
Yep.
I smile at, I laugh at jokes that I go, okay, I guess that you done told that joke 12 years to everybody. I got to let, and so it's a lot of stuff that I'm doing. It's meetings nonstop. And I'm not used to that, of being that part of, because you get the glory and you also get it if it don't go. So it's like rising up to that occasion.
Right.
Well,
but it's good.
Well, first of all, how are you? Because he's so rude. How are you doing?
I'm a little verklempt right now because I'm trying to get it together, because I ran into Angela. And Tiffany Cross, it is Angela's name.
Angela Rye, yes.
Oh my gosh. I'm so embarrassed. I can't even. So I'm trying to get my groove back.
Oh, man.
This is a woman, I am such a fan of Angela Rye. I love Tiffany Cross. They tell it like it is. I'm super fan. And as soon as they walked past me, I walked out the door and I said to Angela Rye, "Hey, April!" Oh, my gosh.
Now, what April did you think she was?
In my head, I was just thinking about April Ryan.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about, because April Ryan. And I got facial blindness anyway. I'm horrible with names. I have facial blindness, which is called prosopagnosia. So when I look at your face, Envy, it's just a face. It's a nose, it's lips. There's no distinguishing features.
I did not just get a nose job.
Oh, you did.
Don't say that, but she'll believe you.
I sure will. That's how I'm going to remember Envy. Oh, Envy with the nose job. That's how.
Black people are always doing that. Oh, you know Envy with the nose job?
Goodness
That's exactly what I'm going to remember.
I didn't get a nose job. I had polyps in my nose. They removed the polyps so I could breathe better and stop snoring.
That's too much to try to remember. Just to remember Envy.
Envy with the nose
Envy
job.
with the polyps in his nose. He had to get the polyps, remember. Yeah. So it didn't even take too long. You're going to be gone by the time I say hi.
That's right. So Envy with the nose job.
Yeah, so it works. Envy with the nose job. Okay. See how quick that is?
Exactly.
Yeah. See, he doing that because he loves you so much.
I doubt that. But I doubt that.
Now, did you feel like Wendy's shoes were too big to fill?
Well, I think so. I think we didn't even wear the same size shoes. So I'll have to say yes.
You're an idiot, yo.
I think I'm answering it in a practical way. Yeah, I would say that. Yes.
Oh man,
Jesus.
Were you afraid of that in any way?
Afraid of
the shoe size?
Yeah, I'm talking about literal. I'm not talking about literal. I'm talking about figuratively.
We know.
That's so crazy.
Because I think you start getting afraid when you start comparing yourself to other people. And you can't, that's where you get into trouble. You can't compare yourself to other people. Otherwise, I would have been terrified when I had to take over Star Jones's place on The View. And the one thing that I loved is Star Jones called me. I was working on 30 Rock at the time. And she called me to congratulate me. And she says, "Don't try to fill my shoes, because you will never fill my shoes." And she said, "You have to go in with your own experience, your own eyes, and make these your memories." And she said, "So I'm not going to tell you about who to watch out for. You have to go in and get the lay of the land." And I appreciated that. So me doing what I do, I am a stand-up comic. I know what God called me to do. I have a faith. I'm really about a lot of positivity. So I knew that's what I do. If I base my career off trying to compare myself to other people, I still be struggling.
That's right. Got you.
So,
did you speak to Wendy? Did you get a chance to talk to Wendy when that situation?
No, I didn't get a chance to talk to you. I didn't get a chance to talk to you, Charlamagne. I didn't get a chance to talk to my auntie Jaquizia. So there were certain people that I got a chance to talk to. It was Oprah Winfrey. Whoopi was in Italy, so I didn't get to talk to Whoopi. She called me back. It was Robin Roberts. Ellen, I didn't get a chance. Nobody, people don't be having celebrities' phone numbers or they won't give it to you. So I didn't get to talk to Ellen. So it was very few people that I got to talk to.
I love the way you handled it, though. I think a statement came out when Wendy said she wasn't happy with or she wouldn't be watching the Sherri show or something. And I love the way you handled it. Just, your
I
response?
mean, I'm not doing it for anybody. I know what my assignment is. So if somebody and everybody has free choice. It's like if you want to watch me, watch and see what I can bring. If you don't, the beauty of it is there's Tamron Hall, there's Jennifer Hudson.
Wow.
If you want a sister, there are more than one. There is more than one Black woman.
Did you always wanted a talk show? Was that something that was on your checklist? Like, this is what I want?
Yeah. It was just, I didn't realize it was a talk show that I wanted when I was a little girl and was putting like a paper towel in front of my dolls. I just like to talk and I love knowing about people. But it started as I was doing stand up. I was like, I'd like a talk show, because I was looking at stand up comics who did talk shows, and stand ups are really great at doing talk shows.
Absolutely.
They're great at being guests on a talk show. And so I realized that's what I wanted. And my first pilot was in 2004. And it went nowhere. I did it on the Regis and Kelly set, and it just went nowhere because I didn't know who I was. I just wanted to make people laugh. So if you told me to do anything, I would do it. But
Was that after The View or before?
that was before The View.
Okay.
That was way before The View.
Wow,
I did The View. I didn't start The View till 2007.
Okay.
And I was devastated because I'd done it on Regis and Kelly, and I knew I was funny. And I remember the executives walked in and they was like, give us what you give on stage, that thing you do. And I was like, what do I, my voice was high. I was like, what do I do? Because I'll do it.
Yeah.
And they were like, that thing. And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, Lord Jesus. And I was praying, but I wasn't ready.
Right.
I hadn't matured into the dream. And so had he given it to me, it would have fizzled so fast because I didn't know who I was. I'd have sat in front of people going, what am I supposed to say? Now when I sit in front of an audience, I know exactly who I am. I know exactly what I'm delivering. I know exactly what my mission is. I know exactly when some people go, can I come on your show? No, that's not what I do. You would be, a celebrity came and he was like, I want to talk about something that happened in my life that's very serious. You probably would be better served with Tamron.
Wow.
Sitting there because she's a journalist.
So you tell people that. You tell people.
I absolutely do.
Wow.
You would be better served over here because, the thing I love about Tamron is because she's a journalist, she's going to dig places that I'm not going to go. I'm going to ask you, do you know how to play spades? Because I know my audience is coming. They want to feel good. They want laughter. So I'm not going to go to those places. So and I'm at that place where I can go, no, that doesn't work for me.
Have you taken a step back and like took a deep breath and just reflected on your journey, like all of that? Like, you talk about 2004, the show didn't go nowhere when you did that, and then The View, and then you got let go from The View, but then
Right.
all these years later, you get a chance to fill in. Now from the fill in to having your own show, have you like processed all that?
It's so funny, Charlamagne, because I see now looking back, sometimes God don't show you how it's supposed to work out. You just got to, even going through it, trust that it's all, that scripture, everything works together for your good. I did not realize that doing The View would be so instrumental in me understanding how to do my show. Like, I don't get caught up in social media and comments, and because at the end of the day, I still got to pay Jeffrey's therapist, his school bill, and I realize y'all not pay, if y'all just want to talk about the fact I ain't got no damn hips and you ain't cute and you just stole this, that doesn't serve me. And that's from being on The View. Because every time somebody got on me, I was going to Barbara and Bill Getty saying, can I just get on the air and clarify and apologize? And Barbara goes, for God's sake, if we apologize for everything, this show would be called The Apology. And it's not. If you want to apologize, go somewhere else and do it. And that's why I learned, bitch, you better be tough.
That's right.
Everybody, you can't be letting everything affect you. So that was a learning ground. Doing Dish Nation was a learning ground because I learned I'm in a studio by myself. Brat and Head Crack, they're all in Atlanta. So I have to learn to talk to that prompter like I'm right in the room with other people. That serves me when I'm sitting on that chair because I can't see the audience. The camera's right in front of me. So yes, now I see how all these little things, doing stand up, I have to stand on stage and headline for 90 minutes and keep you entertained, and somebody might heckle, damn, your titties is big. I got to think of something. Quick, I don't have 30
isolate
minutes.
that. Just isolate that.
That part right there.
No, this is really what they, damn, you got some big ass titties. Okay, I'm talking about being married and divorced. But I got to stop and I have to handle you. That serves me well sitting on a couch. And it serves me well when people are wearing a mask. I can't see if you laughing or not. But I have to know that I know walking out that door, Sherri, you funny. This is you've been prepared for this. So yes, now I see where all these little things that I had to do, even when I bombed you know, and D.L. Hughley told me, get back on stage. You got to get back. So when things don't work, segments that I want to try and they may not work, I go, okay, failure ain't no big deal. Let's get back up and try something else.
Do you remember your worst show as a comedian? And I ask all comedians that. Do you remember your worst show?
Oh my gosh. It was Mark Curry's manager. I don't remember his manager's name. He and Jamie had the same manager, Marcus King. They used to have a comedy show contest in Oakland, California. And me and my girlfriend, she's now a big publicist at ABC Freeform, because she didn't stay in the game. We pretty much hitched a ride, because this ain't for the weak, stand-up comedy. We hitched a ride. Don't do this, girls, if you hear me. But we hitched a ride all the way to Oakland, California from L.A. Okay. From L.A. We hitched because we didn't have no money. We were struggling. And we went and did this contest because the Def Jam people were there. Stan Lathan, everybody was there watching the comics. And I had worked on my act, and the first round, knocked out. The first freaking round, because they put me last. I had to follow all the dirty comics, and I was clean. I didn't even curse.
Who else was on there? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh, it was Lester Berry, it was D.L. Hughley. Did Jamie go up? Might have been Jamie, because it probably was Jamie, because he didn't have nothing in except pimples on his face. He didn't have nothing. It was Yvette Brown. She used to play Indell on Moesha. Oh my gosh, Cat wasn't out then. We didn't know him. Might have been, was JB there? I know Mark Curry was there. It's all the ones that you see now that are there. And then there's a lot of them that you don't see. All of the Oakland comics were there. And they put me, it was 24 comics. I was 23. So me coming out going, hey, everybody, how you doing? They was like, boo, bitch, get off the stage.
Damn.
And then all the comics, when you bomb, they don't want to be around you.
Yeah.
They don't even want to talk to you. It's like you got some kind of disease. And I cried, and I didn't have no money to get home. And we had to hitch back, and then it was just horrible. And my girlfriend made it the next round. She made it the next round, and she had to come. So I was like, well, you gonna come back? She's like, no, I made it. So I had to go back home by myself.
So what made you continue on? Because at that point, most people would have been like, you know what, maybe comedy's not for me.
It was all I had. It was like I was a legal secretary. My mom had diabetes, and she was not taking care of herself, so she was sick. I had a sister that was on drugs. Like my home was just the ex-boyfriend. He had gone to prison. Like he was writing letters all the time telling me he was gonna kill me. I mean, it was like
what the hell kind of Lifetime movie was you living, Sherri?
I really do need a Lifetime movie. And I want Tiana Taylor to play me, but. No, it was all I had. To be able to get on stage in the darkest times, and half the time I didn't have a place to live, staying on people's couches. That was the only time I felt like somebody, or, just being on stage knowing I could make people laugh at the stuff that I was going through. So I got the journal from when I was on stage. It has tears dried up on the notebook. So that's why I got on stage.
I got a two-part question, because it's about both of your careers. When you did stand up in that moment, and you said you was number 24 and everybody before you was dirty, that was an era where you had to be like shocking, right? Like you had to have like some edge to you just to even stand out. How did you keep yourself from being that? Because I couldn't be that. Okay. Like if Cheryl Underwood was on there, and if you've ever seen Cheryl on stage, like Cheryl, it turned out she's still Joe Torre. Joe Torre was on the thing. You following Joe Torre? Yeah. Oh my gosh! So was TK doing it? I'm not sure. Lord.
You following T to the fucking K? And then I'm from the Valley, so I'm talking like this. My voice is so high. How you guys doing? I couldn't be. I tried to go up on stage one time at the Birdland West in Long Beach, and I tried. Scruncho was up at the. Now more names are coming to me, but I tried to be Cheryl. But it's not authentic. And I remember going up on stage, and I had this heckler line prepared. If they said something, I was gonna be like, I'll stab you, nigga. I'll stab. And I tried it, and they was laughing. Cause it don't hardly look, Cheryl looked like she could stab you. Yeah. Sherri Shepherd, no sir. So it didn't work, me trying to be somebody who I wasn't. And I learned to, DL said, you got to get back up on the stage. Jamie was very encouraging. Yvette, everybody. And I just realized it's just, you got to keep getting back up. You got to keep showing up, and you eventually get better. If you keep doing it, you get better. So you got to bomb. You got to fail. Otherwise, you really don't appreciate it when you get on stage. Now I can get on stage. It don't, a heckler, you're not scaring me, because you're not making the money I'm making. You probably want to do what I'm doing right now, but you're scared. So you're going to scream it on stage where it's dark. But if I put a microphone in front of your face, you ain't really got too much to say. and everybody in this room came to see me, and they really want you gone. So when I come in and I got their confidence.
They know. And what was the big
Hold
thing?
on,
What you could do?
So the second part of that is, I guess you applied that to The View as well, because Barbara Walters is the bar,
I was a mess during The View.
Really?
I wasn't confident at all.
Okay, because Barbara, Barbara was ratchet. You know what I mean? I loved it. I loved the way she used to ask questions. Did you feel like you had to be that when you was on The View?
Yeah, I felt like I had to, I got on this show, Charlamagne, and Eddie Murphy was the one that told me, I was doing a movie called Who's Your Caddy? With Big Boy.
I remember that.
Yeah, I'm talking in tongues with Terry Crews. I'm just trying to make people laugh. And they called me to guest host, and I guest hosted, and they liked me. And then Star was like, when I go on the road, I want Sherri to fill in for me. I was terrified to meet Star. I probably called her by the wrong name.
What's up, Stacey?
Stacey, because she was a big lawyer. And then Joy said, I like Sherri when I go on the road and do gigs. So they kept calling me, but I never wanted to do that show because I knew they were talking about politics and debating. I was a Jehovah's Witness. I didn't do no debating. I didn't talk back to people who were older than me. And everybody kept saying, do it because it's going to change your life. My best friend, John Murray, who was my EP on my show, he said, Sherri, doing The View will change your life. And I promise you. And I did it reluctantly. And here the first week I said, I don't know if the earth was round or flat. Stepped right in
Lord
it.
have mercy.
And I did. And by the way, I do know that the earth is round. I was so nervous. When I get nervous, I can't remember names. I didn't even hear them ask me the question.
You was ahead of your time. This is more flat earthers now than it seemed like it was back then.
Now they all coming up out the woodworks. Everybody who said the earth is flat. But and then to sit next to this woman who was just like, she don't smile. She don't, then I'm next to Whoopi who's looking to be like, bitch, you don't know nothing. I'm just like, so it was very hard for me.
So how did you find yourself on that show? Because Barbara would ask anything. Right?
Yeah.
And Whoopi is already established. And
that was the year we started doing a lot of politics. Because that's the year Obama was running. And it was a lot of race stuff coming up. And I had to learn. It was a lot of failures it was a lot of falls. I don't like to call them failures. It was a lot of falls on The View. And I had to sit and look at Bill Maher saying they could do something with the stupid stick. To me, Bill O'Reilly called me a pinhead. You gave me donkey of the day. Like, this was everything. Howard Stern.
Remember?
Probably the flat earth thing. I don't remember.
I don't remember what you gave it. No, you said I don't have no butt or something. It was a Tasmanian devil. I remember
a
you
different
said.
person back then.
See, I know, but now you've evolved. Now you've evolved. Now you have therapy in your life,
That's
and you
true.
you have the God that we all serve. You're respectful. You love people's energy.
I do.
You do. They're like, now you're changed. You've evolved. You wasn't all that when you gave me donkey in a day and talked about. And I was listening to you. I was like, dang.
Oh, I remember that because you said your son used to listen to the show.
Yeah, me and my son listened to the show. He was like, Mommy, why Charlamagne don't like you? I was like, I don't know.
No, I didn't say I didn't like you now.
Well, when you give somebody donkey of the day, Charlamagne,
that's just a moment.
When you're on the other side of that, ask Stephen A. Smith, when you're on the other side of that, you think people don't like you. But it is all of that. That's how I learned, Sherri, you can't take in everybody else's energy. That doesn't serve you. I know that. So I don't pay attention to social media. I wish I could let these young people know. Get beyond social media and clapping back and you arguing with this one. And it don't serve you. It is a waste of energy. But I didn't know that then. But I learned. I learned from a woman going, this ain't the damn apology show. Go out there, stand by what you said, and we're going to keep it moving. Because basically, once the next news cycle comes, they're going to forget what you said.
No, I want to ask you about that because that's a good point, right?
Well, thank you for coming, too. After he gave you donkey.
Sherri's been
here
a few times since then.
Thank you for coming.
Sherri's on the intro to the show.
I know, but I'm saying thank you for coming. I forgot you gave a donkey.
No, Charlamagne, actually, you apologized. You was like, no, you're not. And you said you were sorry. So the evolution, I could see it happening even then.
So with that, right? Like we've seen Barbara Walters do apology shows, and like everybody sees all this old content of Barbara, and they see her using the N-word and asking people about their sexuality. So if somebody came to you right now and was like, Barbara Walters is racist, you know how these kids are. They see her using the N-word. Barbara Walters is racist using the N-word. What would you say to them?
I would say you'd have to, you only saw a clip because everybody operates in little 3-second clips. I would say you have to work with this woman because the reason why you may be on the air is because of Barbara Walters. And so the same woman is the same woman who put 2 black women on the air when you had never seen that before. There had never been 2 black women on a talk show. And Barbara Walters, ABC, did not want me, and she fought for me to be on there. So if you saying a racist wants another 2 black women on her show and she's a racist, that don't even go together. Because she felt like I had something to say. And when people would talk about she defended me on Howard Stern. Now, so a woman who's doing that, and she would always say to me, I believe in you. You can do it. Just freaking read a book and defend what you can't rely on your pastor, what your pastor says all the time. Read a book. Now I love talking politics. But I had to go through, I didn't know about politics and I didn't know what, different things, but I do now. So falling is not bad. It's a way you look at it. You get back up, you keep showing up. And you're going to get better. And then there's other blessings.
Now, you mentioned Stephen A. Smith. He was on your show last week.
He stepped in it.
You ruined his book release week.
Oh, my gosh. I was trying to let him know on the couch.
He was
he
had a conversation about Super Bowl.
Oh, my gosh.
And then he jumped out the window and just said out of nowhere,
for no reason,
Rihanna is no.
Oh my God!
I say why?
But the thing about it is, like, I feel like Stephen A. A lot of people, I had this thing. That's what he does. That's what he gets paid for. But there's a way that men be talking. Y'all talk. You can get brutal, but when you go in front of a audience full of black women. It's a day and time we tired of being compared to the next black woman. Black women are feeling like don't nobody protect us. Like it's a lot of triggers. And I feel like somebody on his team should have been briefing him going, this is a female talk show, Stephen A. This ain't because on his show, I'm sure they tell the women, if y'all want to play on our field, you got to you got to be able to play like a man. But I wish somebody would have said, you're coming on an all female show. They love Sherri. These are women. So you gotta course correct a little bit. And I don't think so. And I think it threw him. Because he got that swag. He sat back and did his tie. And I was like, oh, you in trouble. And you coming on with the swag? Because they was loving Stephen. They were loving him. And he did everything that he did. He does it on his show. But she ain't no Beyonce. Let it sit. He does that.
That crowd was not feeling that.
That crowd was not, and he wasn't reading the room. Like, wait a minute. I'm going to give her this, and I'm going to give her that. And I'm looking at him going, I just wanted to use the N-word right on the air going, boy, you are stepping in it. And this ain't going, and it ain't going to lie on just my show. You may be thinking it's the little Sherri show. This sucker about to get out. I tried. I was like, wait a minute. He wasn't going with me. And I said,
you tried. Like, no, we're not comparing. Totally different shows.
That was the thing. There was no comparison. Like, what was the point? Like, it wasn't even a discussion.
I think, because this is what Stephen does. He just, he does controversy, and it's in his DNA to go, yeah, but. And this is how people talk. We've had this, when you with your friends, you talk who's better. I loved it when Katy Perry came on and Missy Elliott stole it. We have those discussions, but you got to know how to read your room.
Well, Katy and Missy is different because we want.
Yeah, like I wouldn't pay no attention to Katy.
Yeah, I want Missy.
I'm just saying the feeling I got when Missy exploded on that stage is why I sat through Katy Perry's set. It was Missy Elliott. So there's a way that you talk. There's things that I will not say on my show because I know that's not my audience. And I learned that from The View. John had to comment. It was one time I was defending Sarah Palin with everything I had. I was up because she had a special needs child. So I was like, this is a woman with a special needs child. And John was like, black people hate you. Stop it. It's certain things. There's your inside voice. So I will never be that person who says everything that's on my mind.
But why can't we have nuance, though? I understand what John's saying, but you should be able to say, hey, I can relate because she has a special needs child, but also I may not like her politics. Why can't we have
Because I wasn't
those
articulate like that at that time. I am now.
Got
Yeah, like because we had a whole discussion backstage of because I do feel like I don't like that so many people jumped on Stephen because it was an opinion. He loves both women. He really does love both women. He just felt you gotta come up to where Beyonce is. Riri knows that. She got that competition within herself. He just didn't read the room. And I came in and I said, I want to say, this was unfair to Stephen A. Smith. He should have been blah, 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 blah. And John said, you have to do, are you falling on the sword with Stephen? Because this is what you're going to get the backlash. There's a way you can articulate this, Sherri, because we got to remember the theme of the show is you're being funny, you're light, so you can't come on, wagging your finger at people. Because what I don't like is that nobody is allowed to have an opinion.
That's right.
And say anything without people going, take him off the air and canceling. So we worked it through. It took us about 25 minutes. We worked it through of, okay, well, I could put a joke in here. I could do, okay, it's the Beehive in the Navy. I could say this and I could, so that it's palatable for everybody. And I still said the same thing. And I still put in my message of, I don't like us being at a place where we can't say our opinion. So that's what I know how to do that now.
Well, he apologized in the parking lot, right?
He apologized in the car. Cause I think it was just shell shock too. Yeah. Because you don't, and also you just don't realize how big the people in today, we get triggered, and that affects and that's why I said, please go buy his book, because he does say some really great things in his book about, about his relationship with his father, his mother, how and I still have women going, I don't give it because his sisters didn't teach him nothing, and his mama didn't. I mean, I have friends who are really angry.
And he didn't say what, right? If y'all having a discussion about live performers and you say Rihanna's not a better live performer than Beyonce, but all you said was Rihanna ain't no Beyonce. What does that even mean?
I think it's just him sitting. You know your uncle at Thanksgiving. No matter what you say, your uncle like, yeah, but he ain't gonna have the way he run. And I think that Stephen A. Smith didn't realize we Black women, we are just feeling like we're not protected. It's not like you have to, with on First Take, you are brutally taking down 30 NFL teams. You got a lot of comparison. Well, Black women at this level performing at the Super Bowl, it's 3 of them. One got in trouble. Her nipple got shown. She got thrown under the bus, and her career was gone for a minute. Janet Jackson. You got Beyonce. You got Rihanna. You just haven't, it's not a lot. There's not a lot of us. So to be it does look like you're pitting us against. And that's why I think you have to have women on your team sometimes to go, let me come in here and tell you something. So I don't think that went through. Black women. It was Black women when they turned quick. Oh my gosh. And then you got the Beehive. It's a bunch of 14-year-olds coming after you. Now you arguing with 14-year-olds. And you don't realize the power of 14-year-olds. Putting memes all on. You can't even get to the good comments because them 14-year-olds ain't got nothing to do. I don't argue with the Beehive. I don't even say these Nicki, Riri, Beyonce, Lil' Kim.
Nicki's is the
worst.
Nicki's is different.
The Barbs?
I said, when I tell the
you don't want no smoke with the Barbs.
They said to me when I was filling in, and I think I said one thing, it wasn't even nothing bad. And somebody put on a post, they said, don't even go there because we'll take you down. It was like the mafia had spoken to me. Right. I showed John, I was like, they coming. And I was like, oh my gosh, this dang on these Barbs.
I want to salute to John because I was told that you told Deborah Mercury, I'm not doing this show if John isn't my EP. And I thought that was so just dope and honorable.
Stand-up person, absolutely, yeah.
For so long.
John is like the wonder kind of creativity. So a lot of the stuff that we do is John's idea. We've been on this journey 20 or more years, and he is smart. And a lot of people he knows, he has a lot of connections in the business, and not connections where you do for me, I do for you. Relationships is what I should say. He got that Janet Jackson thing happening. That was John Murray who did that. So I couldn't give credit to the show because it was John. People that come on our show, John makes a phone call. We can't get clearance. John makes a phone call. So he has relationships. He knows talk shows like the back of his hand. He helped me on The View articulate what I was going to say. I knew what I wanted to say, but he was like, you don't have enough time to say that. Whoopi's going to say this to you. Joy's going to interrupt with a joke. You got to say it succinctly and quickly. And John helped me with that. Wow. And so I knew that this dream was not only my dream, it was John Murray's dream too, because he's the only Black man with the executive producer title and the power. And I said, I didn't just want him to be executive producer. He had to have the power. That's what I had to fight for. So he's great, and the producers love him. And so I trust him because I can't fight all of the battles, and I can't be over on the other side in the office, and it's just sitting on that couch. It's a mental thing I got to do. So having him with me and being able to look at him and he says things I don't know what I wouldn't have done the show without him.
And
I would have walked away.
That says a lot about you, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this is your dream to do this show, and I'm sure like, oh no, let's get more experienced DP, and you're like, no, this is who I want. I won't do it without him.
Yeah, he knows we got the same vision. When we stand behind that door, he grabs my hand. We pray for the audience who is watching on TV.
Mm-hmm.
We pray for the audience who is sitting there, that they see that side of God, the laughter, the love, that they feel better than when they came, because we're going through so much. I don't do politics for a reason. I don't do heavy stuff because I feel like you can get it from when Tiffany Cross comes right back on the air. You're going to be able to get it from Tiffany. You're going to be able to get it from Angela. You're going to be able to get it from Rachel Maddow or Fox if you watch it. But for me, I want you to have a respite from all that. I want you to be able to laugh. Right. And John is so clear. So when people come to me and go, you should do this, he's the one that takes all of the bullets and stands in front of me and shields me so that I can go out. He's the one that says, don't bother Sherri with this because it messes up with her mind and it's hard to produce her. So he knows me so well.
Now, you talked about how difficult it was dating before last time you were up here. Has it gotten any easier? Is your DMs flooded? How is dating now for you?
Yeah, they still flooded with people who ain't got their side tooth and they missing a finger and they still in their mama's basement. I still get those. But you know what? It is. I remember I sat and talked with a comedian, Rodney Perry, and he told me, he was like, you know, you in your 50s and y'all mouth and you don't want to be, and it's gonna be hard and the window closing, and I remember laughing, going, I'm only gonna be with one man. There's somebody out here who's gonna love my mouth, who's going, and that sounded nasty as hell. That sounded horrible. My publicist looked up and was like, Sherri, this whole show. My publicist like, really, she's trying to get rid of she's trying to ask this whole interview. Who, by the way, Simone Smiles, we've been together, 10 years? 10 years? I'm telling you, I like longevity in my life. But no, I meant like they're gonna like what I say. They're not gonna be insecure. They're not gonna, and it's only one. It ain't 13 of them. And I literally, I started dating more, because I would date, Envy, we would go out on a date. I want to marry you. I'm writing, Sherri Envy with curly Q's and hearts. Yes, that's how it was, because I was in this religion that taught you, Charlamagne, if you're going to date, you got to get married.
You got to get married. That's
you got to get married.
Not date. If you want to have sex, you got to get married.
Okay, we already had that show about the second husband. Damn. That don't work at all. If you horny, don't get married.
Don't get married.
I feel like, damn, I gotta like go. I don't know what I'm gonna say when I get to heaven today. Like, they play my positives and negatives. I just know it didn't work for me being horny and doing marital bliss. We had less sex after we got married, and I still was horny. But that's what I came from. So I went to a dating coach, and she said, you got to go out with different people. It don't make you no whole. It just, you find out what you like, what you don't, how you can appreciate things. It's conversation. You got to learn how to have conversation without making the curly cues and putting their last name on it. You got to learn how to go out, and if they don't call you, you ain't texting trying to be cute, and doing little hints. And so I started just dating. I dated somebody I met on Instagram.
Really?
He was like, I am a sheriff. I work in Atlanta. Do you date regular guys?
Sherri and the sheriff sound crazy.
He was a sheriff. And I said, well, are you a killer? Are you a serial killer? He said, no. I was like, okay, let's meet. So I went to Atlanta to do something with Kim Whitley. I had 3 dates in one day. I had a breakfast date with the sheriff. I had another date in the afternoon skating, and I had a dinner date. That was the most fun for a year, just dating different people. And it made me say, I had a date where somebody ghosted me. So I had a date with somebody. All he wanted, every time he called, he's like, what color panties you got on? Golly, it's Sunday. It's the Lord's Day. Can we talk nasty on Tuesday?
You went to a restaurant, he wasn't there?
No, we went out and had a great time. He picked me up, had a beaming Mercedes. It was great. It was wonderful. But so many people recognized us, or me, and I don't think he knew how to deal with that.
Gotcha.
I went to the bathroom and they followed me to the bathroom. And he just was like, that ain't what I want. I dated somebody who was a big writer in Hollywood. And he said to me, he was great. And he said, but I don't want to be sharing my shine with you.
Damn.
That's so corny.
But I appreciated it, because I'm like,
lame.
then we ain't got to worry about it. He said, when I go on the red carpet, I don't want to share it with you. And I'm like, well, you saved me a lot of work.
What about the sheriff?
Guys like him need to go to therapy, because that sounds like a bunch of insecurities.
Insecurities.
But I'm not going to waste my energy trying to convince you that you need therapy, because you told me who you are.
What happened to the sheriff?
The sheriff? Oh, he
She
pulled
wrote in
out the
cursive, Sherri and the sheriff, with a little Q at the end.
I'm gonna tell you, he was great, but I felt bad because he wanted to take me to this one restaurant in Atlanta, and it was not open. But I saw the old lady gang was right next door, and it wasn't open. And I said, "Well, let's go here. I know Candy," and he goes, "No, it's not open, and you got to get reservations." And I'm going.
You don't know who you with right now.
You don't but you don't want to play that card. I'm like, I know Candy. So at the same time, I'm texting Candy going, Candy, we at the old lady gang. And Candy's like, I'm going to tell him. But even before Candy did something, the waitress recognized me. So she was like, oh, yeah, all them 30 people, I'm going to open up and let y'all in. So you don't want to say, I can do this. This is what I can do. And we sat there, and it was just so many people. Because in Atlanta, it was a church group. It was the girls' trip. Miss Sherri. And it's always, we hate to bother you, but...
Can I get a picture?
Can I get a picture?
Right.
You know, and he was getting so tired of that, and I felt bad, but I can't. And I would say, no, I'm not going to take any pictures. And then we just ran out of conversation. I was like, hey, what kind of gun you got? Can I see your gun? Wow, that's a big gun. Does it have bullets? And I was like, what do you do? Oh, you take the men down. Like, he never asked what I did or anything. And I'm making jokes, and he was just, and then we got in his truck, and then he took me all over. He showed me, and I'm diabetic, but I was trying to, that's not sexy when you say to a man on the date, I'm diabetic, so I can't eat this and mess with my blood sugar. I take metformin. That's not sexy. So I didn't tell him I was diabetic, and I ate pancakes.
How old was he?
He was like in his 40s.
Now y'all diabetic discussing age.
I know, but it was the first date. Like, you tell a man that on your third date.
Hey, man, T.K. Kirkland got a joke. He said that I'm not dating no young girls because I need to be with a woman who can identify the signs of a stroke.
That's exactly what it
Yes.
is. But you don't want to be talking about signs of the stroke on the first date. So I was trying to appear to be fun-loving, and and I smiled a lot, show him I had a sense of humor.
Right.
So I was eating pancakes, which raised my blood sugar. So he wanted to take me on a tour of Atlanta, and I kept you not off.
That's what I'm saying.
So he goes,
what if you'd have fainted?
Yeah.
We don't know why you fainted, but if you'd have told me you had diabetes,
I didn't want
you
to
might
do
have a pen
that.
or something.
You know what he said? He goes, "Are you a narcoleptic?" And I was like, "Oh, this is going nowhere fast." He was like, "You can't wake up, wake up." And I was like, And I had eaten too many because it was good. I ain't had pancakes like 9 years, and it was so good. And I was falling asleep. And he was like, and I was just like, I gotta go home, and I gotta take this metformin. I need protein. Like, I want to tell. See, Envy, look at you, Jesus. And he was like, "Why you keep falling asleep?" And I was just like,
that was your opening because I'm diabetic. And I eat the
because
pancakes.
that's so sexy. I might as well tell them about the doggone magnesium that I got to put on my calves when I get my Charlie horse.
You diabetic? That mean they'd be like that. So you don't want me to give you no sugar?
Okay, that didn't run through my mind. Charlamagne.
Now, listen, but you know what I like
But it's
what you
great.
said?
Dating is great now.
Dating is great. All those people you were dating, you weren't sleeping with, right?
No.
And see, that's what I be trying to say about Lori Harvey, because every time Lori Harvey gets spotted out with somebody, folks is like, oh man, she must be sleeping with all these people. No, she might just be dating.
Let me tell you what I love about Lori Harvey. Lori Harvey don't tell you nothing she doing. Lori Harvey move in silence. You know, she'll post the pictures. They will post the pictures. You don't know what's going on with Lori Harvey. All you know, the one thing you got with Lori Harvey is baby hair. You could be sure of baby hair. Right. I think, you know what, and I love Lori Harvey because I'm like, we are, as older people, we weren't allowed to do that, date multiple people and say it's not working out. That's what men did. I love it that this is a young woman who's just like, I know who I am. Yes, everybody, I know y'all are like Michael B. Jordan, but it didn't work for me. Correct. And I'm walking away. Now you get, Damson Idris likes you.
That's right.
You go and have fun, because once you settle down and that belly get big and you start getting them indentations on your booty because that baby just taking everything from you, it's a whole different story. Enjoy the season of your life and keep your mouth closed. She don't be telling nobody what she doing. So I don't know what's going on in Lori Harvey's house. I know one thing, Lori Harvey, if you try to steal a car, she'll beat your ass. Did you see that video when they tried to steal Lori Harvey's car? So you got to ride or die right there. You just got to be the right one to get that ride or die.
There you go.
I wanted to ask you too, I remember you started the show and like it was a great time in your life, right? Your dream accomplished. But then you also lost a great friend in David Arnold.
Oh man.
So, but I'm sure you couldn't show that on TV. So what was that like emotionally for you?
Devastating. And it's still devastating right now because David A. Arnold, and if you don't know him, go friggin' look him up, was just on the cusp. I know David from the beginning when he came to LA, and to see somebody on the cusp of everything that he ever dreamed of happening. I was his first major talk show. He had his outfit hanging on the closet. We had talked all the time. And so, he was just, I saw David fail and bomb so many times and course correct and redo, and he got on this family. Literally, and he credits me for this. We were on the plane with Janet Jackson going to Essence, and her baby was screaming like crazy. And he was getting so irritated because she was going up and down the aisle, no nanny, trying to quiet him up. And we were talking, and he was so mad that I didn't introduce him to Janet because David Arnold had an ego like nobody's business. And he made a video, and it was so funny. And I said, David, get back to making those videos about you, about your family. And he would go, God damn. And I said, keep doing that. And I was reposting it, and his numbers were going up. Then more people started reposting, and that's how people knew him. Mm-hmm. And so it just, because he said, I don't want to write. He was an amazing writer. I want to be an actor. And it was happening for him. So to have lost him so early, that's the only time I questioned God. I was like, I don't understand. He loved his family so much. Somebody came to David, another big comic. Corey's good. It was Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb wanted to fight David Arnold at the Laugh Factory. And David goes, I'm not fighting you. I have a mortgage to pay. I don't fight anymore. And it was funny seeing me. He was like, I'm not from the hood. and it was like, that was David. And I wish that the world really would have been able. He was working with Kevin Hart and Lena Waithe. Mm-hmm. He had 3 series in that were about to go into production, plus his own. And so I just feel bad that the world didn't get to see what David Arnold would have been bringing.
Was there any like survivor's remorse, like guilt, because your dream is happening?
Yeah.
And your guy was on the cusp, but he transitioned.
It wasn't like survivor's remorse, because I know my path was different from David's. Mm-hmm. I just wish that more, like David would have gotten what I got. David would have gotten the success that I was able to get. Mm-hmm. I don't get into the survivor's remorse and why me and not them. We all have our own path. Mm-hmm. And if you stop looking at, well, why me and how come they got it and not on, I'm just as good, then you're not paying attention to the path that God got you on. Because we all got a purpose, and we all got to, so why do I have a talk show versus the person who is much better than me and they don't have a talk show? I don't know, but that's a lot of energy I'm wasting on that. Okay. Why do I not, how come I don't have, my father got dementia? How come your father don't have dementia? Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just what I have to deal with. So it's like, where are you going to spend your energy, especially as we get older? Like, I just don't have a lot of time for where's my energy going? And if it's not serving me, and if it's not positive, and if it's not pushing me forward, then I don't have time to engage.
Is that the answer you received when you questioned God about that situation?
It was silence. But like moving to New York, I got a clear answer. I did not want to come to New York to do the show. I want to stay in LA. All my friends are in LA, my pack that I hang with. And you always got that person who talks to God, who got the answer. And she said, God said to me that New York is not for you. It is for your son. He has Asperger's. That is for Jeffrey to find his independence. That is where. So I said, okay.
How's your son doing?
Oh my gosh, he takes an Uber by himself.
Really?
He has his own key. He done lost 5 of them. I'd be like, oh, please, if somebody break into this damn brownstone, Jeffrey, I'm gonna kill you. You're gonna be the first one. But he lets himself in. I let him take the train to go to the Mets game, and I prayed the whole time. The train with his friends. No, he went with his friends. But they all got special needs. All of them got special needs. And I was just like, Lord. And he was like, Sherri, I got him. I cried the whole time. I was texting. Then he said, Mom, we got in the celebrity section. I paid for nosebleed section 2. What is you doing down there? He said, I told him you was my mama. Stop using my name, boy.
You his mama.
But you can't do that, because look, he's 17. I got to get this guardianship over him. This is my biggest fear. Some girl, he gonna tell her I'm his mama, and some girl gonna look at my son and be like, okay, come on over. Okay, I'm gonna have to do innuendos, because Jeffrey told me not to talk about him no more. He still is very whole. He's very pure. He ain't had that.
He's a virgin.
Yes. I'm afraid one woman that's got a lot of street smarts will take a look at my. He give you flowers.
You think he gonna tell you when he loses virginity?
No, I don't think he gonna tell me. But I'm saying, this is my biggest fear, Charlamagne, that I will call my son and some woman pick up the phone and I say, where's my son? And she goes, Miss Shepherd, he don't want to talk to you. You can talk to me, bitch. What? I will go bust somebody in their mouth. I swear to God. And biggest fear is she goes, he's moving in with me. Because, you know, some of these women will do that mess. He moving in with me. He don't want to, he's 18, and no, you cannot talk to him. And I will be like, oh, Niecy Nash, Kim Whitley, y'all got to get me out of jail because I done busted a woman up in her mouth. I don't think I'm supposed to say that because I got a talk show.
No, when you say
Simone looking at me like, this is not the date. We had discussed what you were supposed to be talking about, and this was not on the list. But I swear to gosh, my biggest fear.
I believe you. See, if you go on stage and you say, I'll stab you niggas. Now, if you...
Now, I'm not saying I'm stabbing nobody.
No, but
I say I'll bust you in the mouth. That's different.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I believe you when you say that.
Yeah, I'm not shoot. I got gel nails that the UV is talking about they're gonna give you cancer.
You keep putting them on that train. Them little young biddies on that train wearing close to nothing clothes.
These people on this train, I take the train all the time.
I don't like that. I be seeing them videos. I don't like you on the train.
Charlamagne,
You
stop
a
being
daytime
scared of
talk
the
show host.
boogeyman.
You got money.
On.
Why are you on the train?
I agree with him.
You know
Simone
what?
over there like, thank you.
My daughter goes to NYU, and she is forbidding to take the train.
There are 20 million people or more that take the train every day.
God bless them.
I don't
They
get
not
on the
Sherri
train
Shepherd.
looking. Okay, but first of all, I don't get on the train looking like this with hair down to my ass.
You still Sherri Shepherd?
No, you're not Sherri Shepherd because I get on the train. If I take this wig off, I got cornrows. I look like Queen Latifah and set it off. Okay, let's go there first. Then you get on the train. For y'all who think you're not supposed to, you get on the train, Envy, and everybody looking at their cell phones. Not one person is looking up. I didn't know there was 9 different Haitian languages on the train. Them people ain't watching the Sherri show. There's so many different languages people be speaking. I could be on that train butt naked, and that one old lady, a Dominican lady, will recognize me. And that one, the lady, you know, nobody recognizes me on the train. I don't call attention to myself. Now, if me and Niecy Nash got on the train, her freaking cleavage is down to her knees. They gonna know that's Niecy Nash. I don't get on. Cheryl Lee Ralph get on the train. Believe this is what it looks like. A dream. Yeah, they gonna recognize Cheryl Lee Ralph. These people get on the train. I don't get on the train like that. First of all, I get on the train. I'm wrapped up. I got my hat on. I'm covered up. I got a ratty coat on. Sweats on. I don't look like Sherri
Why, though?
Shepherd because it gets me there quickly.
Just
the
leave
A
on
train.
time.
No, if I get on the lift to go see my trainer over in the village, it takes 35 minutes. Literally, it's 20 on the train. And sometimes
That's 15 minutes.
Sometimes I don't want to sit in the back of the Uber and the man be talking to me and I got to hear the radio and he talking to his wife and I'm sitting next to 3 car seats. I told the Lyft driver today, how many kids you got? I don't have nowhere to put my stuff because there's so many car seats in the car. I want to get on the train. I get on the train. I wrap my arm so tightly around that rail. If you try to push me on the train, you're going to be having my arm in your hands. I'm like, it gets me around.
Well,
I
at least
don't
go with
care.
security.
I don't care that you don't like
At least
it.
go with security. Something.
What? I don't need
You're
no
worth
security.
something. When you're worth something, you got to protect it. You just got 2 new seasons.
I do protect it. I don't take the train at night. I take it. So when I take the pictures, there's nobody there. It looks like it's at night. It's usually in the morning when I get done working out. I don't take it all the time. I have a driver that takes me back and forth to work. So I have a driver for that. And then it's usually on a Saturday. And then I have to teach my son how to ride the train because he thinks
that's
that
wild.
my son said to me the other day, I don't know if I want an assistant. You will never have an assistant. And then said, what do you think you're going to get an assistant? No, your mama got an assistant. He was like, and when I get, he wants to go looking at apartments. Because he said when he 18, he moving out. He wants to go look at loft apartments. No, you don't get a loft apartment. Your mama get a loft apartment. So I still have to teach Jeffrey on the weekends how to ride the train because he's got to learn to be
Can
independent.
you teach me? I don't know how to get to Met.
I will
don't know how to
teach
get
you
to
how-
Met Stadium. I'm from Queens and I don't even know how
I
to get
will
to
teach
Shea
not gonna
you
practice bad
how to
habits.
ride the train. And look, they gonna recognize you because they gonna be like, oh, that's DJ Envy with the new nose. They gonna, as soon as we get on the train, they gonna know you. Then you gonna mess up my thing. Then they gonna be like, oh, that's Sherri Shepherd. Or they gonna be like, that's Octavia Spencer. They gonna then it's gonna be like, and then you gonna mess up my vibe. So I don't take it all the time because I took it. We went to see the collaboration with Jeremy Pope, and it was, you know, when you go to Broadway, it's so crowded. The lifts, it would take them too long. So I said, I'm gonna take the train. What I forgot was I got a bright pink coat on. I'm dressed up. I got the wig down to my butt. I did take the train. That was the wrong, and it got dark, and they dropped me off at the wrong stop. And I looked around. I said, I don't live near the project, so I know I'm in the wrong space. And here's the thing, because I got off at the wrong side, I didn't have my reading glasses on. So I thought I was on the D train, but I was on the B train. And so I had my Google Maps, and that's the wrong thing to be doing, walking around with your phone. And I walked up to this street, and then I said, no, it's the arrow going the other way. So I walked back the other way, and this girl goes, I like that coat. And I was like, oh, shoot.
That's how it starts. That's right.
Okay. And I was like, I ain't fought in so long when I lived in Chicago. I'm going to have to fight this girl. But here's the thing. She recognized my coat before she recognized me. And then I was like, oh, and I kept going. And then the dudes came out, the projects, and it was like, hey, Miss Lady, is all that for me? And I was like, I am in the wrong
all that for me
area. I got a talk show. That's what that's what dudes be saying that now. They be like, that's all that for me, mama. That all that for me. And I was like, hi, how are you? And I kept walking. I was like, I'm lost. I am lost. Okay, where's the subway station? Now that, not good.
Was you in the Bronx?
That's what it sounded like.
It was somewhere near.
If that coat was baby fat, it'd have been gone.
Goodness. Well, check out the Sherri Show each and every day. We appreciate you for
on
joining
everything.
us. Thank you so
The 2 new
much.
seasons, the NAACP
Absolutely.
Image Award nomination.
We're nominated for NAACP Image Award for Sherri, and one from my podcast, Two Funny Mamas with Kim Whitley. It's our second nomination. We won last year, so it's our second nomination. I want an Emmy written down on my mirror everywhere, but I want this. So go vote at NAACP Image Awards.net.
Please.
It's a little hard. Y'all got to do the work to get to where we
That's
are.
right.
But go and do the work, please.
Let's get Sherri more accolades so she can get even more money, even though she's already a millionaire, because we got to get her off this train.
Wallet now.
Yeah,
So
we
you
gotta
gonna give a
get her
shout
off
out
this
to my 2 ex-husbands and all the money I got? Oh, yeah.
You still paying child support?
Yes.
No.
Yes. I sure am.
Jesus.
When is that up?
Jeffrey's still 17.
Oh, 17.
And
One more year.
yes.
Are you counting down the days?
I am counting down the days.
Sheesh.
So you stop, get out my wallet.
That's gonna be a.
I got
we
stuff to buy. I
should
got
do a
IRS
party on the
bills.
show.
Yeah, we should. No, I don't want to poke a sleeping bear.
Leave it alone.
They've been leaving me alone.
Right. Well, it's Sherri Shepherd. It's the Breakfast Club. Thank you for joining us so much.
Thank y'all for having
And
me.
I ain't having nose jobs. It's not a nose job.
We definitely got a nose
Just
job.
want to tell you. It's the
I know it's the polyps.
It's the polyps.
You had the
It's
polyps.
the
And
polyps.
you did the polyps, and you had to clear the polyps out. You see how long that takes?
There you go.
Exactly.
It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.